You're welcome once again to our relationship series. And today we are going to be talking about ingredients for healthy relationship. There are things that make for healthy relationship, and those are the things that we want to talk about. Like I've told you earlier in our previous, series videos that your relationship that will lead to marriage must be intentional. Every step of the day must be intentional. So let's look at the ingredients that will make a healthy relationship. After this, we'll be talking about red flags in relationship, but let's first of all talk about the ingredients for a healthy relationship. Number one, know yourself. You see, you want to get into a relationship with someone that you probably have not known before. And then you are thinking of living and spending the rest of your life with this person. The question is, do you know yourself? Because sometimes there are things about you that you don't know. When people point those things out, you get infuriated, you get angry, but they are just telling you the truth of who you are. And that's why one thing you need to know when you are building a healthy relationship is to know yourself. We are too quick to know other people and we don't know ourselves. That's why the Holy Book says, first remove the log from your eyes before you talk about removing the spike from somebody's eyes or whatever. In other words, the one in your eyes is bigger than the one in the other person. Because you see, somebody says we don't see the world the way it is, we see it the way we see it. Or that is, what I'm trying to say is the world is what it is, or people are who they are. Your perception, your background will tell you how to interpret people and their actions. Depending on where you come from and how you were raised, there are things that are triggered to you that may mean nothing to somebody else. And so that's why you need to know yourself. One of the things you need to know is your temperament. Let me ask you, what's your temperament? Some of you don't even know. I've heard of some cases where people go for interview and they ask them, what's your temperament? They say, no, I don't have temperament issue. I don't have temperament. It could be laughable, but you need to know your temperament. For me, I am primarily phlegmatic. Secondarily, I am choleric. And so when people relate with me on a normal ground, they see the phlegmatic side of me, the peaceful going side of me, and they think that is all about me. Until when there is an issue, maybe for leadership or to drive something, a cause, and then they see the choleric side of me. And when people don't understand you that way, some of them will say, these gentle people, they are very dangerous people. It's not as if we are dangerous. It's just that we have the secondary and the primary aspect of our temperament. And so for me, that is it. For you, what's your temperament? Different school of thought have classified them into different categories, but I like to just narrow it into these four: phlegmatic, the choleric, the melancholy, and the sanguine. If you don't know your temperament, how do you now know the other person's temperament? How do you even know the one that will complement with you? Because when you know your temperament, you will know the strength and the weakness that you have. And then you now know who is to complement you. For those of us who are phlegmatic, we are introverted people. We really don't like outing. I can be indoor for days, for months, for weeks, and I don't feel bad. In short, the best position for me is for me to just be alone. That's the time I think That's the time thoughts comes up. That's when I write. That's when I do a lot of things. But the moment I find myself in the midst of people, it's all distraction. And that's why I'm not a party person. If you invite me for party, like I tell my friends, it's better you assign me something to do for you than to just sit down there and say that I'm having fun. I don't enjoy those fun that people have in parties. That's me. So if you are my friend and I don't attend your parties, it's not because I have anything against you. It's just not my person. Parties doesn't excite me. I can attend your party, sit in one corner. People will be singing, dancing, jumping around, and I'll just be sitting down there and be watching them. As far as I'm just communicating with my brain, I'm fine. Or I have a book to read or just something to watch to just keep myself busy, I'm fine. So you need to know, some of you are perfectionists in nature, the melancholists. You want everything to be orderly, you want everything to be perfect. If you don't know that that is your temperament, you will be obsessed with people who are not like you. And so you date Lady A and she's not a perfectionist. You get angry, you break up, you date Lady B, and then that person comes to your house and pull the shoe one side, and you say, is this where the shoe is supposed to be? And you say they are dirty, and you say they are not organized, and you keep blaming everybody. The problem is not the people, the problem is you. So you need to know your temperament. When you know your temperament, then you'll be able to help other people too, because you will be able to identify it. You will know their strength and weakness. You know who even complement with you. Because trust me, if you marry same temperament like yours, except you understand it and you people work on it, if not, you'll be having issues. Because those things that are comfortable for you, when you see it in another person, you will not be comfortable. You begin to have issues. Introverted people like us, we have the weakness to keep malice. Even though for me, I've grown past beyond that level. But then when you meet somebody like that, because they don't like to, raise chaos. So when you step on them, they just keep quiet. And when they see that, oh, you are doing this, one, two times, they just ignore you, keep you quiet. And you say, oh, this person is always keeping malice. The truth is, they just want peace. If you don't understand it, you will not even know how to approach it. And so you just label people wrongly because of your ignorance. First of all, know yourself, know your temperament. Another thing you should know about yourself is your financial personality. Like for the ladies, one of the things some ladies use to assess some guys, to judge them, is how generous they are. And so they demand and they expect that the guy should just be spending the money as much as you like him spending. If you are also a spender and you marry a spender and both of you live in the same house, you will be fighting almost every day for money issue, because you don't know how to plan with money. He doesn't know how to plan with money. I remember when I was invited to go and speak in one church, and this other guy too was invited, and this guy was speaking as I was listening to him, and he said something that shocked me. And the guy said, when he earns money, he consume it. It's his money. He eat whatever he likes. He buy whatever he like. When the money finish, he knows he will get another. The God who provide will provide another. I looked at him and I'm like, this guy need knowledge. Because if that kind of guy marries and that's the way he spends money, he will have issue with paying his bills because he doesn't know how to plan. So for that kind of guy, if he's wise enough and he knows his money personality, he should not be looking for a spender. He should be looking for somebody else who is not like him when it comes to financial personality. But unfortunately, people who find themselves in this category feels they are generous because they can spend the money for themselves and spend for friends. And so they meet an opposite sex who also spend like that, and they think they complement themselves, and both of them keep spending until they get into marriage and just discover that the way they are spending money is not helping you. And in most cases, they don't even understand that this spending recklessly is the thing that is wrecking their homes. A lady gets to meet a guy. Maybe this guy is earning 50,000 naira. Yeah, I like to use 50,000 because I know that a lot of persons can relate with this figure. You know, I met this guy, maybe earns 50,000 naira, and she's demanding, and the guy is like, "What do you want to do with the money? What do you want to do with this money? Okay, can you forgo this one and let's talk about this?" And the lady is talking about she wants to buy a handbag that costs this amount. They want to buy a shoe that costs this amount. She wants to buy a wig that costs this amount. And the guy is like, no. And then she goes about telling her friends, that guy is a very stingy guy. He doesn't want to give me money. He doesn't want to release money. Excuse me. The guy doesn't owe you your expenses. That you're in a relationship with someone doesn't mean he owes you. You see, when it comes to this issue of stingy, I think I would like to do a video particularly on that. But let me say something here. You have no right to call anybody stingy except that person is your spouse. Everybody have their life to live, have their expenses to make. And so you cannot be labeling people. Sometimes I go to some churches too, and they are calling for tithe and offering. And some pastors man their podium and say, the very stingy people who are seated here in the congregation, they will not want to pay. Some of them will pretend as if they forgot their wallet at home. Excuse me, do you put money in their pocket that you call them stingy? You know, sometimes we don't respect people's privacies and rights. It's my right to give you. And if I don't want to give, you can label me. And so we need to understand when what is called money personality. If you understand your money personality, then you get to know the other person's money personality. You know whether you people complement. Sometimes the person doesn't just have. Or maybe you are even dating a guy who you call stingy, but that person is an investor. Is the type that the only way he can spend his money is when there is something to invest in order to generate income. You see, if you are a spender and you get this kind of person, maybe you people will even make a good family. Because while your money will be used to some other things, to put fun in the family, the guy's money can be used to plan for the future of the family. But sometimes we mixed up everything together. We just want these high flyers in most cases who all they do is just spend money to keep relationship. And trust me, most of these people, when you get married to them, you come into your home, they will keep spending that money for other people too outside. And you start blaming them and start saying all kinds of things. That's why you need to understand your money personality. Another thing you need to know is your strength and your weakness. I tell people, if you are not matured enough to know your strength and weakness, then you still have some work to do on yourself. You must know your strength and weakness. That's why when I hear people say, I don't trust anybody, I don't even trust myself, I tell them I don't belong to that class. I trust myself. You know why? Because I know my strength and I know my weakness. I know what I can do and I know what I cannot do. And so I won't push myself to the extreme of what I can do. There are people who are not good with money. You give them the money, like I talked about the spenders. You give them money to keep and they spend the money. Not because they actually want to spend your money. They just believe that before you need it, another money will come, they will pay you back. And so when you now need the money is not there, they spend the money. You go about telling people that, oh, this person, I gave it or I have my money to keep, the person spend it. Now, see, instead of you calling them names, you should just understand that, okay, when it comes to money, I need to be careful with these people. Let me not put them in that corner where I'll give them money, they spend the money and they cannot pay back. Then you now know how to measure it. There are some people that, when it comes to food, you don't just give them, tell them, go to my pot and dish food. Because if they go there, they will eat your meat, eat your fish, eat everything. They can leave that soup for you dry. They can leave your food dry. They will eat every other thing inside of it. So when you know people like this, you know where their weakness is, you know their strength. But before you know others, you should need to know yourself. You should know your strength, you should know your weakness and all that. Another thing that you need to know is your trust level. To what extent do you trust people? Sometimes people just go about saying, I don't trust people. Human beings are wicked. People are not wicked, people are not bad. But situations happen to people. And so you need to understand to what extent do you trust? Because sometimes the problem you have in a relationship is trust issues. You don't just trust people, maybe because of your growing up or the things you've heard, how people have done evil to others, and so you just don't trust people and you go about thinking that your philosophy rules the world. But you need to understand that people are different. Know yourself. Know yourself. People can know some things about you that you don't know. That's true. But to a very large extent, you should know yourself, at least reasonably enough, so that if 10 people talk about you, at least 7, 8 of it should be what you know about yourselves. Some of the things you do today are just pattern from your background, and you think it's witchcraft. And that's why sometimes some people go to church or religious settings and they just give them prophecy and they are shaking and shouting. And some of these things are just pattern. The way your parents think, that's the way you are thinking. The way they acted, that's the way you act. And you are expecting life to be different? No. Some of you, they tell you that in your family you don't marry early, and you begin to say, yes, 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 and this one have not married in my family, the other person is not married, or they don't last in their marriages. Before you know, or maybe they give birth here, they will go and give birth here, or they marry one wife, marry second wife. These things are pattern. If you know yourself, then you'll be able to study the family you are coming from. Ask yourself certain genuine questions and try to find answers to it. Another issue that you need to be self-confident. You need to build some level of confidence. Some of us don't have confidence in ourselves at all. You are shaking for everything. You're unstable in everything. You need to be yourself. You are just wavering like a lily. You are neither here nor there. People push you around. You don't even know your strength. You don't even know your potentials. You don't even know. Even when you get achievements, you don't even know because you don't have any confidence. You need to be self-confident. You don't have everything in the world. You don't have all the money. You don't have all the qualification. You don't have everything you may think about. But there's something that makes you unique. There's something that makes you special. And that is what you need to know and be confident about it. Tell yourself, for me, when it comes to this, you are going into a relationship and somebody is asking you, what do you have to offer in this relationship? And you are saying, what? What? Is it not when we come in? You, what are you offering? Some ladies just get angry when somebody asks them, what are you bringing to the table? They just get angry and they flare as if that question triggers something in them. The truth is, they are not confident of themselves. They don't even know what they are bringing into the table. They think somebody else will have to work while they eat. You must be confident. Some of you have a lot of potentials, but you've not even identified them. You don't even know that with little push, with little encouragement, with little provision, you can get to highest level that people around you cannot imagine today. But you need to know all of this. Self-esteem. Let me not call it pride. Just have some self-esteem. Stop begging. Some people go into a relationship just to beg. It's not only the ladies, by the way. Guys to do it. These days of sugar mommy and sugar daddy, people are looking for where to eat that they never sold. How this person made the money, They don't know. But they are just look. Imagine a guy who is jobless, is looking for sugar mommy. And tomorrow, when the sugar mommy begins to control him like a slave, he will come out and say, these women are very wicked because of their wealth. You caused it for yourself. Some people are looking for somebody of class who is working in one settle, earning this amount of money to get married to, just because they are looking for what to eat. You must have some level of self-esteem. There are some things you should not bring yourself that low. Because if you are going into relationship that will lead to marriage, you must have a healthy self in order to build a healthy home and a healthy family. Deal with your fears. Some people just have all kinds of fears. Your growing up was not palatable, and you think because your mother maltreated you or your stepmother maltreated you, every other woman is wicked. No. Or that your stepfather abused you or your father abused you, did all kinds of things to you. You now think that all men are dangerous. No. Deal with your fears. Deal with your trust issues. All the things you've passed through in life was not caused by the people that you are meeting now. And so don't bring the backload of all the things that you have faced in life and now pour it on them. Deal with your fears. And so this is where I want to stop, and I want you to take time and consider this. You can do more research for yourself, but the most important thing is be healthy and whole enough before you get into a relationship, or keep working on yourself while you are in this relationship, so that I don't end up wrecking people's life and be looking for who to blame. Your village people are not responsible. You have to take the decisions and do what is right. Thank you.